Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about films. I'm your host this evening, Boba Phil, because I've changed my name now. Not on the website yet, but I have. And with us, we have another full house. So we have Yoda.
Oh, shit. I'll just switch it to 4cam. I was like, which one is he going to pick? I don't know. I panicked. I didn't know what to do.
Oh, the pressures of live television.
I'm just happy we're on all muted.
Well, that's still probably the case anyway. We got Sean.
Hello, fellow bigots.
Big
bigot.
I think that's what you meant to say.
Disavow.
And Matt, formerly known as Eggy.
Right, losers. Yeah. How you doing?
He's talking to me when he says that.
Yeah, I'm not a loser. My mum says I'm a winner.
My mom says I'm cool.
Yeah, my mum says I'm cool. How is everybody doing this Sunday?
I woke up this morning.
Shane.
Why am I alive?
I'm in heaven. I've got a house all to myself. All my kids are out. The wife's out. I've sat on the sofa all day eating crisps, drinking, watching sports. I'm loving it.
Living the dream.
You were watching?
I've been watching the athletics, actually.
Have you been watching the gymnastics again?
Wow.
You do like those boys on the pommel horse, don't you?
Don't assume their gender, George. Don't assume their gender.
Oh, it is funny. Still old sports like that still say this, male and female, and it's just kind of like I'm sure there's people screaming at the television going, "No, there's 37 genders. Yeah. Where's the gold medal for the Apache helicopters?"
You can quite see she's got a cock while she's jumping around.
I'm going to tell you something. When they get men on those uneven parallel bars, I'll start respecting it. Until then. Yeah. And that ain't ever going to happen. I see how those women hit that lower bar with their groin. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I'm going to start respecting trans people when a female boxer decides to transition into a man so she can fight in the heavyweight there.
Yeah,
it'll be like that Monty Python sketch with John Cleese and Connie Booth,
I will start respecting them when. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say 5 minutes into the fight, like woo woo woo, she's not gonna make it. I mean, he's not gonna make it.
Cutting it off longer and going, if he dies,
he dies. He dies. She dies. What is it? I don't know.
When it dies, it dies. If it dies. Yeah.
Jolly good. Well, that's got some of the racism out of our system.
I punched her dick off.
He gets on the nutsack like one of those bags. I
was going to say, I punched the dick off. To be fair, it wasn't on there very strong anyway.
No.
So,
turns into a Popeye cartoon.
That's plasticine for you.
Yeah.
On a Popeye news, the whoever owns it now has said that Popeye is actually gender fluid, officially canon now. Just in case, just as an update to you guys. Want to keep you guys.
Why do we keep running this site? Why do we bother anymore? There's nothing fun to talk about anymore. It's all just makes us angry.
All the fun stuff we have to say off air. That's the.
or we have to talk about 40-year-old movies.
Say off air. Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's been coming out of Comic-Con this weekend. If you don't know what Comic-Con is, it says in Muslim culture that if you die in battle, you go to heaven to meet 72 virgins. That's pretty much what Comic-Con is like. 72 virgins.
Greatly underestimating the number of virgins.
Yeah.
By order of magnitude, I'm pretty sure.
I can just imagine these Muslims getting to heaven and going, "Where are my 72 virgins?" They're all over there playing World of Warcraft.
Unfortunately, they're all middle-aged men.
We're all here. Let's go play Risk.
So anyway, now that we've insulted everybody at Comic-Con.
I know we've been on 5 minutes. We've had to go at trans Muslims.
He said,
now let's work our way to racial stuff.
It's so weird to me now to think that there was a time that I really would have liked to have went to Comic-Con, sometime around like 1991 or something.
Back in the day.
I agree. Yeah. I would have gone to, wasn't all that long ago. I was like, I would have gone to some of the Star Wars, what do they call them? The
dork conventions.
Yeah. Star Wars Celebration. I would have gone to one of those. And now I'm like, no, never.
How long has that been going on? I thought that was really recent.
Decades. Well,
I did.
Yeah,
it started in the early 90s, I think, after they kind of brought in the legend stuff, but it wasn't like a yearly thing. It was, then they waited like 4 or 5 years, another one. And then as Disney bought it, it started ramping up. That's when it started becoming a more.
They commercialized it, basically.
I would have loved to have gone to Star Wars celebrations, but I would have seen myself getting thrown out quite quickly after meeting a few of the ladies dressed as Princess Leia.
He's making a rape joke.
And you mean the ones where she's dressed as a fucking Quaker, right?
Either that or the Chewbacca's, because they would have reminded me of the wife.
The Chewbacca bikini.
I love that. I love, the movie Paul, where Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are the two, dorks, and they go to Comic-Con at the start of the movie. I don't really like that movie, but I love the movie leading up to before they meet the alien. But
before Seth Rogen arrives.
Right, but them in the Comic-Con and all that is just so funny to me, because he's, that whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty funny. What does he says about he's like, what was it like when you nailed that? Or he said, what was the girl dressed like Chewbacca or Ewok like? He's like, oh, she was very furry or something like a terrible joke.
I haven't seen it for a long time because it's.
I've not seen it.
The shame is that Simon Pegg is such a fucking shitwit now.
Yeah, that's should we talk about that ever so quickly?
Yeah, real quick, since you guys love Star Wars.
If obviously you've been reading the site, if you're watching this,
can't all be rape, Sean. Can't all be rape.
And that could be.
But yeah, basically Simon Pegg has labelled all Star Wars fans. Well, not all. I mean, it's kind of like the Star Wars fan base just seems to be toxic at the moment.
The most
particularly,
toxic, I think, was what he said, wasn't it?
I'm just looking at
toxic fandom or something.
That's right.
Yes, it seems that the most kind of toxic that at the moment. Yeah. So I mean, with it, he's obviously been talking about with the whole thing that happened with Moses Ingram, as the fantastically, brilliantly written and well acted character of Reva in Obi-Wan. I couldn't do that with a straight face.
Well, I mean, let's just put this stupid shit to bed once and for all. It's the reason they call it toxic. When they say toxic, they're basically saying racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First. Second of all, they have set it all up, inauthentically to put in all these diverse characters in there, or to change characters, or to put, lesbian stuff in. They put all their social justice stuff in there on purpose. And inauthentically and inorganically, and really, none of it really belongs in Star Wars. I'm not saying that black people don't belong in Star Wars, but you get yourself a Billy D. Williams that clearly belongs in that universe, not Moses Ingram, who doesn't. I mean, first of all, she looks like she's 12, and she's screeching. She's not doing a very good job. But then you say, when people object to this, it's because they're racist, and we're going to tar them all as racist. It's all based on a lie. It's all based on lies so that they can continue their nonsense of pushing out the message, so that because they hate the fans, and because most of the fans of Star Wars were white guys in their mid-40s to mid-50s. We're the most hated group, and they can inauthentically create this nonsense to pretend that everybody's a bunch of racists. And I'm like, you're just a bunch of liars and thieves, and you've stolen everything good in the creative market from us.
The thing is I put up a picture of Samuel L. Jackson, Billy D. Williams, Moff Gideon, I forget his name, just Esposito, and even Pedro Pascal. And yet there's no racism associated with them in any way, shape or form. But even before Obi-Wan came out, they said that she was going to suffer this. But then you think of Moff Gideon, Mandalorian, Lando and Mace Windu. Okay, maybe not so much Mace Windu, but they are quite well creative characters that you can kind of like. And Samuel L. Jackson, you're just never going to hate Samuel L. Jackson because the guy's awesome. But
this is what happens.
Reva is just a terrible character. Her whole arc was, I'm going to avenge my fallen Jedi by killing lots of Jedi. And it's just like, seriously, that's the best you can come up with for her story. And so, we don't hate her because she's black or because she's whatever. We hate her because she's just a bloody awful. I did the review this week of the fan edit of Obi-Wan. And it was only after I'd watched the film, and it was kind of late at night, I was thinking to myself that I completely forgot the whole bit of Reva's end arc was completely missing from the end of the movie.
Oh, wow.
And I know. And even I thought to myself, oh, yeah, I completely missed that.
I actually kind of like that edit. I mean, he worked with what he had, but I don't know. It made it work, or at least it made it work better.
Reva was just not needed in there, and you could have completely and utterly cut her out, and it would have actually just been a better story. But her whole arc is just utterly ludicrous. I remember one specific moment, but I think there was a couple of moments where she had the chance to take on Vader, but she doesn't do it, and it's only at the end. And they still don't get this at the end as well. It's kind of the what's his name? The Inquisitor comes in and says, "Oh, revenge is such a great reason to live. Are we going to kill her? Nah." After Vader's sort of gone, "I will not accept failure again," everything else, you're going to kill her then? Nah, I'll be all right.
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I agree. I've never watched the first.
Because you watched the entire series
This
twice.
might come as a surprise to you, but I didn't watch the first second of it.
Well,
That makes you a racist.
Clearly.
Well, I would say around 2014, I would say that the gender studies curriculums were fully saturated in the universe, right? And on up. So you start college in 2014, 2016, 2018, right? You're out by 2020, 2018. You started 2014, you're out by 2018. So you got all these HR people that have taken over all these corporations that majored in gender studies, and they're all in deep in Disney, and they're in a lot of corporations, because I'm seeing it in my corporate. I'm seeing it in a lot of places. These people have infiltrated and taken over the HR departments. Everybody's scared to death of the HR department for some reason, and now it makes the rest of the company, no matter what company it is, in this case Disney, churn out products that have to have all this social justice nonsense in it. And and if you wonder why we're going to have food shortages and everything else by the end of this year, when companies are going to start imploding and going bankrupt, it all started, I think, about 8 to 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's Simon Pegg. Obviously, apparently ending the world and causing world hunger.
Anyway, the guy used to make some really good, funny stuff. Now he's just a fucking shitwit.
His early on career, he was in a program called Big Train Over Here, which is just like a sketch comedy show, which was it was fantastic. It was great. Spaced is still brilliant.
I've never seen Spaced. I keep meaning to watch it.
Yeah, it's really funny, man.
It's really good.
I've heard it's great.
I think you can watch it all on YouTube. Somebody uploaded it years ago. You can watch all of that on YouTube.
Or VPN it and go to Film 4. But I mean, it's great. And his early stuff is great. But it seems like he's now just been in, I want to say...
He's establishment.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. He spent so much time with Tom Cruise. Kevin Smith. Yeah, that's what somebody said. And that was such a good comment.
That was, whoever said that nailed it. It wasn't Longshanks because I was able to see the comment, so I know it wasn't.
Right, anyway, so on to Comic-Con. Dungeons and Dragons Online. Now, Yoda, you didn't like this, did you?
Oh, I fucking hated that trailer. I want to see a Dungeons and Dragons movie that is toned like a Lord of the Rings, and they've never really done it. They've never even come close. There's none of that.
You just have to settle that Lord of the Rings will have to scratch that itch for you.
Yeah.
The Rings of Power. I mean, we'll get to that, obviously.
No, we'll get to that. I'm talking about the original Lord of the Rings, not even The Hobbit. At least The Hobbit, the tone was correct, even though it was a bloated mess. But, I don't need to see Chris Pine using present-day colloquialisms in a Dungeons and Dragons movie. I mean, the whole point of playing Dungeons and Dragons is to immerse yourself into something that is not the present day. I mean, that's really in essence. And yeah, I get the jokes, where are the Cheetos, all that nonsense. But that's really the fun of it, is really getting into the stories, if you have a good dungeon master and all that kind of stuff. I don't need to see him saying, you got this. It's like, you go, girl. Fuck off. Fuck off with this.
I submit to you three that the best Dungeons and Dragons movie was the movie from 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6, called Knights of Badassdom. About
that is a culture.
And it is funny, but I mean, it's not a Dungeons. Like I said, I'm tired of meta. I'm tired of irony. I want something sincere.
The thing is
we don't get
it. I agree.
You say that though, but I wrote the article up about it, and I did read that the director, one of the directors, John Francis Daly, who was in Freaks and Geeks, his character Sam was obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, so he used to play it all the time. And he said that the tone they went for the movie was the whole friends getting together and having fun, and yes, you immerse yourself in this game, but at the same time you're just having a laugh with friends and stuff. And so he's given it that kind of tone. And I don't know, I thought the trailer looked all right.
Yeah, but this is a movie, not no, I'm sorry, the game.
No,
the game.
Him, not you, Sean. Oh, you would watch anything, you sellout.
Agreed. What I'm trying to say is that, getting together with friends and playing the game is a different experience than watching a movie, which is much more passive. I want to lose myself in a movie.
So you want the movie to be like a story set in the Dungeons and Dragons sort of universe with no aspect of like, oh, this is a board game, and it's not like the 80s thing where they get transported.
Times. They've done that all the time. It's not like that hasn't been done. When have they done an actual, real, sincere Dungeons and Dragons adventure? I used to read
back in 2000 with Zoe McClelland in it. That was, I mean, it wasn't a great film, but it was set in that kind of real universe, like you're talking about.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I didn't watch the trailer, but when you say you want it, what exactly do you want? Because do you mean you want something
epic?
No, but I mean, you want a film that's like.
Okay, I used to read a lot of Dragonlance novels when I was a young wee lad, and that is an Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign that was created by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, and they put together this whole sweeping story of the War of the Lands, and it's all told very sincerely. There's no wink or nods or dice rolls or things like that. It's just they have all the correct races in there and that sort of stuff. The only thing they may have changed is they call the halflings, they call them Kender, and they're
midgets.
Well, that's what they call them. And they're just really, really good thieves, and they have no fear. They don't have the emotion of fear, which makes them
Romanians.
Yeah, there you go. Gypsies.
Short Romanians. Right, there you go.
The point is, I really enjoyed those books for what they were. And I know there's a lot of people who love the Forgotten Realms stuff and that kind of stuff.
I think you misunderstood what I'm asking here. Let me try to rephrase.
Okay.
You want it without any reference in the film to it being a board game. You want a straight just, sword and sorcery and magic, epic Lord of the Rings type movie with no like, oh, we're actually playing a board game. Haha. Am I wrong on that?
A little. I mean, a little bit. Yes, I don't want them to be. Well, to me, that would be meta stuff.
Right. You don't want any.
I don't need any meta in there. Okay. And then also, I don't want them sounding like they just walked out of the Friends sitcom. I don't need them to sound like that.
Okay.
I'd like them to sound a little bit more.
So what you're telling me is you want something more in line with the 80s Dungeons and Dragon cartoon.
Yeah, that was better than what I saw.
Yeah. Except that the guy couldn't actually have a sword or anything.
I mean, I think this is good because Yoda has just showed us that it's not worth reading.
You guys remember the video game in the arcade? What was it called where you chose your, how
Golden Axe.
Gauntlet?
No.
Golden Axe, isn't it?
No, god damn it! Shut up a second. Where the guy's got the little helmet, and you choose which path, and if you don't hit it, he dies. And you get to see this cool death scene.
Oh, Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great. That was great.
Dragon's Lair, a fantasy adventure where you become a knight. I love that damn game.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that. Golden Axe was awesome, though. Golden Axe was superb.
In line with that, though, then you've got also that's been mentioned this weekend is the House of Dragon, which is the Game of Thrones prequel.
I don't want to know.
I didn't even watch the trailer.
I'm vetoing this to next week or something. I'm not ready to talk about that.
It's one of those things that Game of Thrones was up until that last season was just a fantastic TV. It was brilliant. And then somehow they just I don't even understand how they did it, but they just flushed the whole thing down the toilet in the last season. And
listen, this is going to be controversial with you guys, but I thought the final episode of Game of Thrones was fine. I had no problems with it at all.
I'm with you, Sean. I thought it was all right.
I did too. It wrapped everything up, and I was fine with it, man.
In the dictionary,
amazing seasons.
In the dictionary under shit the bed, it says season 8 got.
Yeah.
It had a few dodgy moments through earlier, but the final episode, man, was pretty solid. Everything wrapped up. It was better than the one.
You had to do some just insanely stupid stuff.
Yes, but the final episode was fine itself.
But it's one of those series that I've never heard anybody say, "Yeah, I'd watch it again." Because you kind of
I would. Yeah, I would watch it again. Revisit none of it.
And I think that's the problem with this whole now. This Game of Thrones prequel, what they just call it, the House of Dragon. It is kind of like I'm just kind of like thinking,
Yeah, when I was for a long time, when whatever our IPs were. The point was to see the further adventures of these people, right? Mm-hmm. So, like when they put out the new Star Wars books, the Timothy Zahn books, this was after Return of the Jedi, right? And, Superman was constantly, new adventures in the comics. And Star Trek, they brought back the old crew, but they had them on new adventures, a new ship. Star Trek The Next Generation, more adventures into the future, where we're going. What is it with all prequel stuff now? It just everything is a prequel.
Just the actors get too old, and they
don't understand it.
They don't want to recast, so I don't know.
I get that, but that's why you have Next Generation, things like that.
It's laziness, lack of imagination, and it's easy to go and use pre-existing franchises and write new stories than it is to come up with something entirely new.
But it's like when you're watching a prequel, you always have in the back of your mind, I know how this all ends up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's no stakes because they all at least survive.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let's take a little tangent if you guys don't mind. I want to ask you guys something. But me and a friend have discussed this many times, and he's always like, "Yeah, man, I'm the same way." And I've wondered if this affects.
Where's this going?
Calm down. So I've got often when I watch a movie and it ends, like I'm always like, man, I really want to.
Does this end in an acquittal?
No.
Okay, just check it.
Do you want me to just stop? And you guys
sorry, I couldn't help myself.
So, like, I can't help but want to know more what happened. Like, even if something ends and you're like, it's the kind of Kelly's Heroes is a good example of that. The movie ends and they're gone. They got the gold, right? And the movie's brilliant. But I'm the kind of guy that always like, but what happened next? Where did they go? How did they come back for that money? I want to know what happened. And I will think about it. And if a sequel to that kind of movie does get made, of course, it's always kind of like, it's usually disappointing. But man, I just can't let it go. And there's a lot of Drive is another good example. He drives off bleeding. And I'm just like, what does this guy get into next? And I just in my mind, I cannot let it go.
No, I like not knowing.
Sometimes depending on the movie, I agree.
Sequels fucked it up. I don't know. I think that's the problem with the prequels, to be honest with you. They tell you what happened before when you don't want to know. Like, the Star Wars prequels are a perfect example. You didn't need to know the story.
Prometheus and Alien Covenant are excellent examples of something that ruins the mystery. Like, so Aliens, I wanted to know what happened after, Hicks and Ripley, whatever. We found out supposedly it was terrible, but I never wanted to know. I never really wanted to know where the alien came from, even though you love to speculate on it, right? You love to imagine it, but you don't really want them to tell you.
I think it was Hitchcock who said, if you've got a spy going across the country being chased by everybody, he's got a case, never show what's in the case. And it's kind of the same thing that you need to. Yeah, you need to have that air of something that people can then all sort of go, oh, what was it? I don't know. I thought it was this, and I thought it was that, and then
it's like Repo
else.
Man. What the fuck was in the trunk? Nobody knows.
And it's
alien,
kind of
we do a dead alien body.
It was an alien, wasn't it?
Was it an alien body? I thought they never really showed it though.
No, it was an alien. Well, they don't show it, but they're very clear about what's in it.
Okay, maybe it's been a while since I've seen that. I just remember they never actually show the alien body. You just glowing and death.
That is an absolute 5 out of 5 movie. That
I love that movie. Yeah, it's been very long since I've seen it, but I do love it.
I've got.
I can't say much about it.
I am not a fan of Alex Cox, mainly because I think the movie came out at the same time as Star Wars, and Alex Cox just was always, Star Wars is really crap though. He's really like paint by numbers and all this kind of stuff. And it was just kind of, he thought Repo Man was going to kind of have the same social impact as Star Wars, and it never did.
It should have though. It is.
We've got somebody writing in first, Lewis Berry. I hope to get Remy's Spidey 4, The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Or Spider-Man. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Ramy's kind of.
Raimi is how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Rami.
Just in case we ever interview him, it's Raimi.
Well, I'm going to get it wrong anyway, then, aren't I? But with it, I mean, I don't know. He seems tethered from the person that he is. From the person that he was. No, lost it.
Yeah,
I just think
he lost it.
I just think he's
not what he used to be.
Corporations.
No. He's just like Ridley Scott. Whatever he had is gone from either selling out.
I mean, what has he made that's like he did that Drag Me to Hell, and I was like,
Yeah.
And then he did that Wizard of Oz movie, which was so forgettable. Most people forgot that he did it.
I kind of like it, but in I just have a soft spot for musicals. But again, it was a prequel that was just never needed to be told. It was.
Was that him?
Yeah.
Was that Mila Kunis? Was Mila Kunis?
Yeah, she's the Wicked Witch in it,
that thing was so miscast.
I didn't know he did that. Yeah, again, another prequel. No one wants to know.
Yeah. No.
It's because this generation, they need to know everything about everything.
If you like,
what I like if it's done right. Do you remember when The Matrix came out and then, they were going to do the 2 new Matrixes and they didn't do any prequels, but they put out that Animatrix and they just had like a 10-minute little thing that said, this is how we ended up here. Yeah. And it's just the history of how none of the characters were involved. It was just kind of almost a pseudo documentary of how we got here. Those kinds of things I kind of like because there's still a lot of blanks that you need to fill in, but it kind of gives a little bit of texture. That's great.
Fleshes out some of the characters.
Yeah, fleshes out the universe just a little bit, but an entire 3-movie prequel saga for the Star Wars trilogy that was bad. No, I don't need that.
We'll get on to Rings of Power because we'll count. Now, what about then? This is going to be one of those. It's going to be another one. National Treasure, the series. Are we all looking forward to that?
Marge, just what we all been waiting for.
Didn't even bother.
I don't care.
I must admit, I didn't bother watching the trailer.
Whoever wrote the article, I apologise. I didn't even bother reading it.
No. It was Stark who wrote it. I can imagine he kind of. It was him that was kind of like. Nobody else is going to do this. I'll do it for the team.
He really does the yeoman's work, doesn't he?
He does, man. That guy's a machine.
So then another one that came out was The Rings of Power, the full trailer. Now, just to give you some context on this, I've just quickly looked it up. On YouTube, at the moment, as we speak, there have been over 11 million views, 72,000 likes, 339,000 dislikes.
Well,
they're all racist, obviously. See, that's how Trump got elected. All of these racist KKK members.
Forget about that. I mean, I think what I was talking about earlier about these children that are playing that are actors now that don't have any lines in their face. Yeah. Cate Blanchett looked like Galadriel. She was pretty young back then still, but she had what she needed to have the weight. And this looks like a child playing Galadriel. I mean, I think that's
don't
right
pills not age too. Like, don't they they like hit adulthood and then stop, right?
They do, but I mean, I'm saying that she may be the same age as Blanchett was when she.
Well, no,
did.
what I'm saying is, how do they justify a younger Galadriel in the prequel, but then an older one in the Lord of the Rings?
Well, I'm saying that they may have been the same age. That they're not. She's not physically older. It's just a recast. I'm saying that in the real world, the actresses, let's say they're the exact same age. Kate Blanchett looks like a more mature, has more gravitas to her.
Hit the wall is the term you're looking for.
Shut the fuck up. She looks like she has weight as an actress, whereas this person looks like a child that barely just got out of high school.
The scene that got me was the one where she's jumping up the ice mountain or the ice wall from Game of Thrones, and she looks up, and the whole thing just looks false in every respect. There's nothing real about that scene at all, apart from her face.
I didn't know there was a crossover. That now I'm kind of intrigued. Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings.
It's the same. It's the North Wall.
This is why Maverick is killing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be, that's going to be. I am fascinated to watch it because I just want to see how bad it is, and I kind of want to watch it and then watch everybody's reactions to it of like, it's going to be terrible.
Do you think that guy you follow on Twitter that loves everything Star Wars will be like, oh, the new Lord of the Rings of Power is amazing. It's the greatest, most. You think he'll start tweeting that?
Funny enough, he thought the last season of Game of Thrones was easily the best season, and also he has also decided that Andor is the best Star Wars series already. I don't know if he's going to bother watching it, to be honest, because why bother if it's already the best thing you've ever seen?
My attitude towards
you and Matt have both talked to me about people who just swallow this stuff hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that there hasn't always been some fanboys out there, like I'll call them cultists, quite frankly. But I mean, does it feel like there's way more of them now? Like they just take the bread and circuses kind of thing.
It's the same kind of principle that I think that it's the same kind of people that with whatever goes on, and I'm not getting political with this, but they read one article on Facebook about how you shouldn't vaccinate your child, and then they literally read one paragraph and go, right, no, I'm not doing that then. And their mind is made up. They don't do any kind of further research or anything else like that. And I went to see my doctor it was ages ago now. It's cleared up now. The rash is completely gone. But I said to him about it, and he said the amount of people that he gets through his door who have seen 2 YouTube videos and Googled an article, and they know more than his 20 years of medical experience on the subject. And it just seems like nowadays.
Wait a minute. So if there's one thing the last 2 years have taught me, it's that is actually can be true, because mask. That's a bad. You probably just
no. What I mean is that people just don't do the research on things. It's fine if you think you've got a disease or whatever it might be. Yes, you do Google and you do YouTube and all this kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is the modern generation just seems to, like I say, read a paragraph or something on Facebook that says vaccines are bad.
You're wrong. Here's the difference. The people that we're talking about and Yoda's talking about, they don't do their own research. They look and they go,
oh, right.
So here's the example.
All of this evidence says so-and-so.
You see the famous screenshot of a tweet where somebody asked Pfizer's like, what is in the vaccine? And somebody quotes, science. Can't you just accept that there's people a lot smarter?
I know that's a religious reflex.
So that's the same people that are like, consume the Disney product, consume the new Marvel movie.
Well, I don't think you guys are. I think you guys are somewhat on the same page here. You're just coming at it from cross sections. I think what you're saying, Phil, is that there are people who just will take the corporate message and just and maybe one or two things, and they'll just swallow it, and because there's a vast majority of doctors out there who are not, they're just somebody in a little old Kansas hospital. So, okay, maybe you have this, but we got to do this test. We got to do this test. We got to run it through this. There's a lot of chemicals we have to do. No, I saw a YouTube video and MSNBC told me this. I think that's kind of where you're coming from there.
Yeah, and it's funny because this. Oh, I lost my point now. Thanks, Yoda.
Yeah, happy to help. Moving on.
I think you finished.
He was doing the thinking for you. You should thank him.
But no, I do think that's this chappie on Twitter who follows me and everything else. He was saying the other day about how much he hates racism, and racism is awful and it's bad and everything else. There's articles out there where John Boyega calls out Disney about how racist they are and how he's. But he's like, oh yeah, but I didn't read the article, so I don't really know much about it. But I really hate racism, but I do love Disney, and it's kind of. No, you're just ignoring the facts there. Like you say, you're just swallowing the corporate message. And when Disney came out and said, "Oh yeah, all the fans are going to be toxic, racist towards Moses Ingram and everything else," I imagine he was one of those people going, "Yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting the way they treated him." You know what I mean?
Cognitive dissonance, I believe, is the term, isn't it?
It's very good. I like it.
I actually quite like Boyega. There's a good example that you put out there. I think he's a good actor, and I think he has a lot of. I think there were some interesting ideas there, at least from The Force Awakens, of what he could have done, and I do think they did him dirty. Absolutely.
So he said I was literally reduced to a secondary character.
Yeah.
What do you think the reason for that was? Just that, do you really believe it was racism?
Who are you asking?
All of you guys that watch that crap.
Go ahead, Phil.
To me, I think it was more the fact that Kathleen Kennedy just wanted to push the whole female empowerment thing. And so she was pushing Rey forward, and it was kind of, what are we doing with Finn? I don't know, just have him, just.
I think it's this bizarre clown world that we've descended into where being racist is like the biggest sin you can be. And in order to not be racist, we have to make race the most important thing about a person, which circles us back around to just good old-fashioned racism again. And it's like, if we could just stop worrying about this stuff, just stop making it a thing, then actual racism would go away. But they don't. They're so worried about being racist that they end up being just ridiculously racist.
It's too profitable.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, and that's how you end up with John Boyega about this big on the China poster.
Yeah.
And what's his name in the Snyder movie there? What was it? Crybor.
Oh, Ray Fisher.
You're Ray Fisher, yeah.
He made the same claims, didn't he? Basically, same sort
of. Again, that whole Chinese poster for Disney knew that they couldn't have a black guy on the poster in China because they would lose money, so they completely reduced John Boyega so you could barely see it.
That's the other thing. It's all about the money,
and then
isn't it?
Trust that racism.
Yeah.
Didn't they edit out the lesbian kiss or something too?
Oh, probably.
More than likely.
In the last Star Wars movie, where I guess like these two
in the Rise of Skywalker at the end, when they're on the planet or whatever, there's two women that kiss.
I did. Was that? Oh, I switched off by then.
You must have watched the Chinese. He watched the Chinese cut.
Well, why do they put that in there?
Redecorate this wall with that grey.
Matt said, "I want to watch the based cut. Give me the Chinese version. I don't want to see any of this crap."
But why was that in there? It was like the Lightyear thing, I did see that finally, and it's as bad as you said.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Oh,
the story is. I mean, the story is. Serviceable at best. But it's
too complicated for a kids movie.
Yeah, and the details like the lesbian stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's like, what's the point? It's the point is that, and we've seen it. This is from their words. Disney higher ups have said my not so secret gay agenda to put this stuff in all the kids shows. That's why it's in there. It's not because it has anything to do with the actual story or makes sense.
Right.
I saw today.
Right, a question for you both then. Why did you both watch Lightyear knowing it was going to be shit? Why bother putting yourself through it?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I was curious more than anything. I wanted to see what Phil saw.
I want to see how bad it is. It's like Jurassic World Dominion. I wanted to see how bad it was, and it was as bad as what I expected. Coming back to Lightyear,
I saw that. I don't know why, but I watched Dominion too, and it was what a mess.
So these basically these are Lightyear toys. That's socks. I don't know if I can get it bigger. So that's socks, the electronic cat from Lightyear. And I thought to myself, when this apparently the opening card to Lightyear says this is the movie that Andy watched to make him want the Buzz Lightyear toy, and you're thinking, Right, so he got the Buzz Lightyear toy. He didn't want Socks, the little electronic cat. He didn't want the other characters from the movie. They are never mentioned again. And we're coming back to the whole, what is the point of prequels if you're just not going to pay attention to any of the details?
Conundrum and the retconning conundrum, but in more. I mean, okay, if he saw that in 1995, they had a lesbian kiss in there, no way his mom would have taken him.
No,
that would have never even gotten made.
That would not have gotten made.
Greenlit that.
See, this is what I talk about inauthentic. That's inauthentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. Wasn't Andy's mum a single mum? Perhaps she was a lesbian, like Ross's wife in Friends. Perhaps they're going to remake Toy Story.
Widow. She was a widower. I have no idea. They never mentioned Andy's dad ever.
Single mom.
No, do you know what though? I want to see a version. I want to see a version, like Matt has just said that. I want to see a version of Toy Story where the new toy turns up and he's called Rabbit, and he vibrates.
And Andy's mom is a cam girl.
Yeah,
and that's how he finds the new Rabbit. He goes into Mommy's workspace.
I'd love to see it come to life, and it's like Woody's like, what's going on, Rabbit? It's like the things I've seen.
Well, wait a minute. Would the Rabbit be happy? Would the Rabbit be happy or
yeah. Well, I don't know. There'll be a scene where Woody goes, Rabbit, why do you smell of arse?
The things I've seen. That corn.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Tell
low.
us about the bloody starfish.
That
it's
was
weird
low
he's called Rabbit, but he smells of fish. I don't get it.
Family show here, folks. Family show.
But yeah, that was another problem with prequels and things. Right, okay, let's get back to you. Okay, one thing that may actually be quite good, possibly, is John Wick Chapter 4.
I don't like what I'm seeing, boys. Don't like what I'm seeing in the trailer.
Can I be controversial here?
Sure.
I haven't really enjoyed the sequels.
There is.
I love the first one. I have not really enjoyed the sequels.
They have started dragging out a bit.
I like the second one a lot. The third one, I was
I've
like,
not seen third.
The third one was just like, oh man,
I remember the ending in the third where he falls literally off a 50-story building, hitting every floor on the way down, and then just gets up and walks off.
Yeah. It was. The first one was a master class of manipulation. Guy's wife dies, his dead wife leaves him his puppy, the dude kills the puppy. And at that point, you are basically like, I don't care if it's a school bus full of nuns, kill them all.
Yeah.
I still love the whole premise of that. When I tell people, have you seen John Wick? And, it's about a guy whose dog gets killed. No? And it's just like, no, I'm not explaining that very well. But yeah, they have started to sort of just, drag on a little bit now. Yeah, the action does look good, but
the shark jumping moment for me was in 3 when he's on the horse and then the motorcycle sword fight. I was like, no, come on, man.
It's really pushing it now.
There's going to be a 5th, isn't there?
Yeah, apparently.
What?
And then you got the spin-off with Anna de Armas as well. She's doing a spin-off of it.
Well, I watched that just because she's in it.
The John Wick universe now we have. Great.
Again, it's kind of one of these awful scenarios where if something makes money, they immediately go, right, how can we make more out of this? Let's just saturate the whole market and make as much money as we possibly can.
That's nothing new. There's 6 Police Academy movies, for Christ's sake. So.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? I don't like the inflection you use when it's almost like you're shitting on these masterpieces of comedy.
the 27 Friday the 13th movies.
My favorite Police Academy is the Police Academy. Is Police Academy 5, the movie even Steve Guttenberg wouldn't be in.
Yeah. They are cheap to make, and as long as they were profitable, they kept making them until they.
Are you trying to tell me that Citizens on Patrol was not a good sequel?
So good.
The other two movies.
That gag just never gets old.
How many Meatballs movies were there? How many Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Streets? I mean, this is nothing new.
Halloween.
Fast and Furious.
Halloween Ends will be the 13th. One of the series.
And that is blatant false advertising, by the way.
Yeah. Like the never-ending story. What a load of rubbish. Hour and a half it was.
Halloween Ends. You liars. You know there's going to be another, you liars.
I tell you, the funniest scene I've ever seen is when the horse sinks and dies in a Never-Ending Story. That's so fucking funny. This little bitch crying over a horse. Yeah, it's like, dude, who cares? It's what they make glue and dog food out of.
Sean in the Never-Ending Story. Artax! Moving on.
Black Adam.
Don't care.
Yeah, even I wrote the story for it, and I had to watch the trailer.
I have a big soft spot in my heart for the whole Shazam universe, and I'm going to watch them, but it's kind of like, begrudgingly. It's like, maybe this will surprise me, but I don't have any good feelings.
I can't stand The Rock. I've got nothing to. And I can't believe he hasn't even got the pointed ears like Black Adam.
I know.
He's just such a narcissist that he can't even have fake ears on in case people go, hold on, is that The Rock? I can't say because he's got pointed ears.
Who is this?
Put your pointed ears on.
I come to the theater.
Oh, no way! It's Dwayne Johnson.
I come to this movie to see The Rock starring in this movie. Who is this?
Yeah. I know.
Leonard Nimoy looks good for his age.
No Spock Rock, no Sail.
The only thing that I'm worried about in Black Adam is I didn't see a scene in a jungle, so I don't know how good the movie's going to be.
It's just a trailer. Just give it a chance.
Okay, so Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but anybody have?
Yeah, it looks okay. I mean, I like the first Shazam a lot, and I like Zach Levi, or Levi, however you pronounce it, and I like I said, I have a soft spot for those characters, so we'll see. When we
make jokes about normie tastes, that's what we're talking about right there.
I get it. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be.
I'm not being mean spirited when I say that. It's it's fine. I don't hold anything against people that like the. Hell, I love the Marvel stuff up until Endgame. I mean, I would see almost every single one of them.
If it makes you feel any better, Sean, yes, I do want to see these, but I'm always disappointed. Does that help?
And that's what's so sad is that every time you're kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go see it, and then it's, Dear Diary.
I mean, at least I'm not coming out of Thor: Love and Thunder going, that was amazing.
A single tear rolling down his cheek.
It's like he's hurt it's like the guy that keeps trying with the same type of girl over and over, and she's
one of these days he's gonna kill you if you let him beat you like this. But I swear Disney loves me.
Yeah, he loves me too much. They keep
too much. I don't want to press charges. I'll keep buying the tickets.
What do you think about the new Disney film? Looks like I'm gonna get another black eye.
I'm lubing up my wallet asshole right now as we speak.
Look, if he wasn't shoving my face into a silverware drawer, how would I know he loved me?
Yeah. My sweetie kisses me with his fist.
That's right. These are not cigarette burns. They are love marks.
It's just that's time in your life that's gone forever. And God knows we all waste our lives watching, movies and stuff. But I think I'd rather rewatch something I've already I think I'd rather spend 2 hours or whatever, rewatching something that I love than keep trying it. I know the website, we kind of got to subject ourselves to some of this stuff, but for fun,
I am always intrigued, like I say, because it's like I say with Dominion, it was so bad. I kind of enjoyed just poking fun at it because it was so awful. So, I mean, at the end of the day,
when you're like, let's be honest here, when you're about 61 and you're on your deathbed, are you going to be laying there going like, man, one of the best times of my life was not the day I got married. It was when I was poking fun at Jurassic Park. Well, oh my God.
When that video goes viral and we all make $1 million off it, then yes, I will.
Yeah, truth, Sean. I watched Dominion simply because I caught up on my YouTube subscriptions. I was like, all right, fine.
What else I got?
I mean, seriously, there was like nothing new. I was like, okay, well, I'll give this a try, see if it's as bad. It was like I want to go see a car wreck. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I felt like. I mean, how bad can this really be? It's like, holy shit.
To be honest, I always get my laughs. I always get my laughs down at A&E. So, it was shut the day. I went down there. So
And we should come clean and admit none of us wants to spend time with our family, so anything's preferable to that.
I'll show you a picture of my wife one day. You'll see why I don't want to spend time with her.
Like we ain't seen it on OnlyFans already.
Hey-o.
If you have, then you're a sicker individual than I thought you were.
Rabbit from
if you're paying for that, that's your own bloody fault.
It was the best £2.50 I've ever spent. I'm actually getting
find Phil's wife on Wookie Bikini on OnlyFans.
I ever tell you guys about that Vietnam vet that said he was before they went to Vietnam, they were on Okinawa and they were, they were in like their temporary barracks, and guys were coming back saying, "Oh, there's this, Japanese hooker, and she's only $5." And one of the guy goes out and comes back, and he's like, "I gave her $100." He said, "She cost $2. Why'd you give $100?" He said, "I don't want anybody to ever say I would have sex with a cheap whore."
So moving on to then, speaking of whores,
speaking of cheap whores,
I've done phase 5 and 6 after the success of Marvel phase 4. The massive success of Eternals.
That She-Hulk looks amazing.
We've got Captain America.
Very stunning and brave looking to me.
Don't forget Wakanda as well. Wakanda forever.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, Nelly. Yeah.
With Avatar.
We've got to what's it called? Yeah, we've got to mention.
Oh yeah, that Wakanda Forever trailer. I was looking at that going, what is this?
I haven't even watched
Avatar. Little blue people running around. It's weird.
Did they really not recast what's his face?
No, as far as I can tell, it's just going to be about Siri and.
Is it going to be like a Weekend at Bernie's?
I mean, they recast.
That would be ballsier.
Now that's funny. I don't see the problem. They recast every other major character with a black actor.
They're just
Why
throwing.
Can't they recast a black actor with another black actor?
Well, they'll have to go deeper. They'll have to make
because
them Indian.
They don't all look the same, Sean.
He went now.
You nailed me on that one.
I do want to see them tossing like a dead Chadwick Boseman at the bad guys, just his dead body is flopping into him, all messed up with the suit on. I looked at that trailer. I was like, I have no idea what I don't know what story they're trying to tell. I don't know I think there was a Namor shot that. But I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here and why this is even a thing.
I can imagine somewhere at Marvel, there's probably a little swear jar that's sort of kind of like, obviously the first Black Panther made loads of money, even got an Oscar nomination somehow. But then there's probably a little swear jar which says every time somebody says bloody Chadwick Boseman for dying, it's all like, oh, man, we got such an uphill struggle. We got to make a second one. Bloody bastard for dying. He's so selfish.
Do you guys think that it'll approach even close to the box office of the first one? I don't think it will, because I think that it was. Well, it was a sending a message going to the first one in a lot of ways.
It was.
And I think that's sort of.
Do you not realise how much virtual signaling points are up for grabs by going to see this film?
Yeah.
You think? Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, no, I think that's just it.
Oh, yeah.
No. Matt, I disagree. The virtue signaling was done. You can tell this by people on Twitter. They put up whatever flag of the month is, and then once that's done, they move on. Yeah. They don't go back. They don't revisit their virtue signal. They got to have a new virtue signal.
Yeah, it's always going to be fresh.
I can just see people. I can just see people going around with tickets for Wakanda Forever, and like anybody black going, "Oh hi, going to see Wakanda Forever." So
look at me.
I'm telling you
we're
now.
cool.
I'm not racist at all. I'm going to go see. I've bought the ticket and everything.
I might have been more interested if they recast him and just told more stories of Black Panther. But
that's all they should have done.
That's what they should have done, and they didn't. And now they're telling this movie that I'm like going, "This is." I don't know what they're doing here.
I haven't seen the trailer. Are they kind of doing what Ed Wood did with Plan 9 from Outer Space, where Bela Lugosi dies, so they just replace him with his dentist?
They're not replacing him at all. It's just the Siri and Bald Chick show, as far as I can tell.
Why did they replaced what's his face with Don Cheadle? But you're telling me now, They can't just recast.
That was pre-woke.
I put a picture up, and the perfect casting to replace him is obviously Ryan Gosling.
I like what he's doing off the Barbie movie. That's it. He should just keep that look. Transition straight over.
Why is Ryan Gosling a thing? That would be Bored Panther, wouldn't it? Because he always seems bored to me.
Hey, I like him.
He always looks like he's just not quite involved with what's going on.
That's part of the appeal.
That worked in Blade Runner.
Yeah, and it did work in Blade Runner, but most of the time it just looks like he's not paying attention, or he's not really involved in the conversations or anything. He's just got this weird face that's just kind of like.
We'll get on to Ryan Gosling later. Let's just finish off with the Marvel phases 5 and 6. Ant-Man of the Wasp.
What's the end of Phase 4? What's the big?
Yeah, what is the end of? I didn't know that Phase 4 was that far along. I thought we were still right in the middle of it.
This is all starting next year, so I don't know.
Well, they always end with an Avengers movie to end the phase.
Let me have a look.
What are they doing for this? Or is it just kind of? Is it kind of like everything else with Phase 4? Is it just fizzling out?
Yeah, let's try to get past it as quick as possible.
Yeah,
I know. Phase 4 ends with Black Panther 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Maybe the Marvel Cinematic Universe ends with Black Panther 2. We will have to wait and see.
Don't tease me, Sean.
Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Echo, Loki Season 2, The Marvels Blade, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again, Captain America, New World Order, and then Thunderbolts. Half of those I've never heard of.
I gotta admit, I do like Catherine Hahn so much. I might watch that Agatha thing because I just like her. But beyond that, I mean, it's not a Marvel thing that's pulling me in. It's what is Catherine Hahn going to do pulling me in?
It's kind of a shame with Blade that they're going to, you've got a Blade which was kick-ass and bloody and great, and then the new one is going to be a lot less blood and not as kick-ass.
Man, Blade 2 is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made right there.
Yeah, so absolutely, yeah. And so, no mention of Fantastic Four or X-Men, Daredevil, Born Again.
That's going to be, I'm curious. See, the Fantastic Four ideal, even though I was never a fan of the comic
that was being done.
It is.
Yeah, they haven't even cast.
There's just no news on it.
Krasinski's going to be Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know. They said, what was it? Did Stark wrote that article, or was that you, Matt, that said that they're basically saying, no, they just did that as a give me to the fans and that cameo in the recent movie that we watched.
I don't think it was me, mate.
Must have been Stark.
Fantastic
I'd
Four's
say
going to
with
kick
enough
off
money,
Phase 6.
they would do it, but the way they're losing money hand over fist. The failure of Thor Love and Thunder's failure has really got them scared shitless right now.
Yeah,
I don't know how they didn't see that coming. ESG funds, I guess, but they should have known, man.
Is anybody else here? Is anybody else, by the way, I asked you guys, anybody else here just about over Taika Waititi?
I was over him after Jojo Rabbit.
I will give him his very early stuff, like I said, is great, and What We Do in the Shadows is great. But now that he's gone into like proper filmmaking, I'm over it.
I think he's in his 14th minute.
What did you guys think of Jojo Rabbit, by the way?
No, sorry,
it's on my list. I haven't seen it
yet.
I'm hearing great things about
it. Jojo Rabbit is very good.
I have to give the devil his due on that one. That was pretty fucking
good. The weird thing is I think it was the Critical Drinker who said that with that the story is being told from the eyes of a young guy, and Waititi can tell that story in that childish kind of way, even the sort of tragedy and the comedy that happens in that. And Jojo Rabbit is really, really well done. It's a brilliant. But when you're then trying to tell that childlike thing with Thor, it's just not working because Thor is not a child, and
he is now.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Before we move on, I'll tell you what they're going to do with Marvel now, because there's only rumours that they're teeing up Spielberg to direct Fantastic Four, which would be start of Phase 6. I think because the films are doing poorly, and they've tried all these new up-and-coming directors and they're failing, I think they're going to start bringing big-name directors.
Maybe, but I think Spielberg, that would do that, he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
No.
That's Spielberg from 1989, and he just ain't that guy no more.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Lincoln and Munich and a lot of these other movies that he makes,
his summer blockbusters.
But the blockbusters...
Lincoln was such a... Man, Lincoln was
You didn't like Ready Player One?
No.
Yeah, and I don't think it was very good.
I really enjoyed that.
Well, you're wrong.
Did too. I'm glad that you said that, Matt, because I kind of enjoyed it too. Not because the story was like amazing, but because I'm a sucker for 80s nostalgia, so you know I was hooked.
Yeah, I liked it.
I don't know. I felt like it was such nostalgia overload, and then I read the book. I read the book, and I just didn't like a lot of the deviations.
Oh, look at the big brain over here who reads the book like some sort of.
This is a second example.
It was a thin book. It was almost a pamphlet.
What a pretentious asshole!
I read the brochure.
I've got to say,
I read the back cover blurb.
Yeah. I read the cliff notes. No, I did read the book, but it's not a very long one. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in there. The way he put a lot of detail in the way virtual reality would actually work, and all of that is kind of gone in this one, and it doesn't. And then the really cool stuff that he did, like to find the first egg, you had to know this stuff from an obscure Dungeons and Dragons adventure, not one of the source books, but one of the actual adventures it was something about the Lich King, and then he had to play the Lich King in Joust, I think, on a 80s video game. He had to play the Lich King, and it's really bizarre and obscure. And this one, it's like get in the car and drive backwards. It's like the easiest Easter egg ever in any driving video game. It's like
You think they'd ever be able to pull off a movie adaptation of Neuromancer?
Maybe a series.
Yeah.
Like an Amazon series if they did it that way. Like, hey, let's use this as a segue, like Reacher.
We've still got some more stuff to talk about. We'll come back to this later.
God damn it.
I've got to say...
No. I'm done with this. Let's go on to Reacher and the Grey Man.
No, wait. I just want to say that I'm going to go on a limb because I think the Ant-Man series has been pretty good, and I'm quite looking forward to the third one.
They've
been entertaining. I've been thoroughly entertained by them. The rest
they're
of the
smaller,
stuff,
which is kind of nice.
Yeah,
no
that's why they're
intended.
Good. Hi-oh. And then the only other one we didn't mention was Interview with the Vampire. Looks absolutely zero charisma in anybody in that. And I love the way that it's New Orleans at the turn of the century, and a black guy owns loads of businesses. Yeah, because that's real.
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, I don't think the original Interview with a Vampire was
movie or book.
The movie. I don't think it was the best thing ever, but I thought it was a pretty solid retelling of that. I'm like going, I mean, how are you going to improve on that? You had Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, you had Kirsten Dunst, and a phenomenal acting job as the little kid, an adult trapped in a little kid's body. And, what are you going to retell that with who? One of these plastic actors that we're talking about now?
Yeah, and there's just zero charisma about them. It's just...
And they've gone well over the top with a gayness in their touching hands in the cinema.
The books are pretty good.
You don't need to see it. Yeah, they are, but you didn't see it in the original. It's just alluded to that the stat was a bit of an arse band. And now it's like,
If you're really trying to make a very book accurate movie, it would be pretty just terribly gay because fucking Anne Rice was obsessed with gay men apparently because it just fucking homo shit through every book she wrote.
Well, I'm obsessed with lesbians, so I mean, I can kind of understand.
Who's not?
Everything I've ever written have always ended.
Am I
right? And then the other one is that we didn't mention was She-Hulk, which again, there's just nothing on earth that would make me think that that's going to be good.
No. She's faster and stronger and wittier and cleverer than the Hulk. It's like, no.
My wife wants to see it, so I'll be watching it.
Oh, my God.
Poor Yoda. Pray for Yoda.
I'll take the hit I'll take one for the team, guys. I don't know.
Is your wife like 7 foot tall and like fucking Amazon? That'd be pretty awesome. That'd be very based to have like a wife taller than you.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it doesn't matter. She's not the boss. It doesn't matter how big she is.
Well, that's so sad. I don't know. That's so depressing. I don't know. That took all the air out of the room for me, man.
Matt, one more thing.
Go blink twice if she's in the room.
No, everything's fine. No, you don't have to send help. I'm like the Iraqi prisoner, you know. It's
I want to see the key to his chastity belt.
You know, one of the things I've noticed recently, and you were talking about the gay stuff and that kind of stuff in there. One of the things that really is getting under my skin, and I'm going to put this to inauthenticity. Straight guys don't like to see gay guys affectionate with each other. We just don't. That's not the same as saying you can't be affectionate with each other. You can't exist. You can't get married. You can't have your own lives. It's not the same thing. It's just saying, I don't really like it. But it's amazing to me to see all these straight reviewers, usually on the left, talk about, it just does my heart so good to see them having such a big kissing and all this kind of stuff. It's like, you liars. You liars. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. I just
gotta say the right things.
That's my point. It's inauthentic. It's lies.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself the other day
as well.
It's like that skinny article on Den of Geek you just described right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Without I make that. I'm not even making a joke. That is literally every article on Den of Geek.
They just praise it and they gush over it like they've loved it all this time. It's like, you know, tolerance doesn't mean the same thing as love it. You know, I'm fine. I'm tolerant of it. If there's a good story about two gay guys that makes, you know, sense, or it has, you know,
Brokeback Mountain. It's a beautiful love story, right?
If it works, I mean, you know, I'm going to say it's not really my thing, but, you know, this is fine. It works. And if the people want to watch it, that's fine. That's called tolerance. And I'm tolerant all day long. But don't sit there and tell me I have to love it. I have to enjoy it, or I'm a bigot. Go fuck yourselves.
They done a study 5 years ago in about the psychology of straight men seeing two gay men kissing.
Yeah,
and the natural. Have you seen it? It's the natural stress response is the same as seeing maggots. That's actually a psychological study that they've done. So it's not bullshit. It's not, you know, Matt's being homophobic. It's an actual study. It's the equivalent. It's a natural reflex. So you can't. It's just the way you are.
It's the meme, right? It's not fear, it's disgust.
Well, this is why, and I'll say this one thing and we'll move on. This is why there can't be a national divorce, because I am like, you do what you want, just leave me alone. And they're like, no, you will love and watch this stuff, and we will make you. You will watch. You will eat the bugs. You will eat the bugs, bigot.
Drink the soy, eat the bugs, and watch the
Soylent crickets.
And you'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah,
that is the problem. That, like I say, I've never had an issue with it, but it is the fact that
doing it or
it's a whole different thing, man. That's a whole different deal.
20 quid is 20 quid, quote unquote.
Just for the record, it's not gay if you don't push back.
Hey,
I'm not gay, but 20 quid's 20 quid.
I've known gay guys who see like a gay scene in a movie and they go, oh, geez. I'm like, what? But it doesn't work.
Have you ever seen that review? I forget what movie it was, but that movie review from yourmoviesucks.com, who he is, you know, very gay. And there's some scene where this guy's making love to a woman, but it's like the camera lingers on the dude, and you know, like you don't even realize that. And he goes, you know, even from a guy that sucks cock recreationally, that is just too gay even for me.
Yeah.
So,
it's not the gay, it's the inauthenticity.
Yeah.
And we know it, and you can feel it. You know something that's not right. It's like all the CGI that we talk about. When something's not real, you can feel it, and it isn't just about special effects now.
I was thinking to myself the other day that I'm quite pleased that the last movie Outpost isn't a huge, big international site, so I don't have to put in that authenticity virtual signal all the time about this. It's really lovely and beautiful seeing that scene with the men kiss.
If we get bought out for $30 million, I'm selling all you guys out, man.
Oh, dude.
I mean, to be fair, like I say,
Black Lives Matter shirt and a rainbow hat, and
I'm gonna have
I'm driving down to Devon and giving George a Frenchie.
I'm gonna put Black Lives Matter on the Ukrainian flag. I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Every show will be introduced. Hello and welcome to Outpost Frequencies. My name is Phil. I identify as a man. I have a beard and glasses.
My pronouns are fucking you. Bigot.
Anyway, so let's move on to good old fashioned hardcore action in The Grey Man. Now, this kind of came out of nowhere for me. The other day, Variety were tweeting about it, and Variety have a nasty habit of sort of tweeting about 200 tweets in one go about the same thing. So I washed over it, but I saw it was the Russo brothers. I like the Russo brothers. I think Captain America and Civil War are both fantastic movies. I never got around to watching Cherry, was it, with what's his name?
Spider-Man.
Tom Holland in it. I never got around to watching that, but I thought I'll give it a go because it's those two. I thoroughly loved it. It was a good old-fashioned 80s action movie, but with a budget. Thoughts?
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Commando from Arnold Schwarzenegger because of it was an action movie that was unrealistic, but it knew it was, it did not take itself too seriously. You got that over the top action, not ridiculously over the top, but and some story plots. You got a guy and he's just trying to make it. A girl gets kidnapped and he's got to make his way to save her, much like Arnie does. His own daughter in that. And there's his rival, which is the same in Commando. And I'm not trying to say it's a ripoff or anything, but it reminded me of it. It was a lot of fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. I like that Chris Evans, although I despise the man. Fucking great.
He was good,
He was good. Because what I liked about him was he was a proper psycho.
Yeah,
proper psycho.
Yeah, and I like Ryan Gosling, man. I liked him in a lot of movies, but I never thought of him as an action hero. But he held it up, man.
Yeah, yeah. I love the fact of like how many times he got stabbed or shot, and he was just like, because I kept thinking, I don't know, if I got stabbed like that, I'd probably scream and cry.
My favorite is when he gets him in the hallway and sprays the mace in his eyes, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah," he's just like, shakes it off. Yoda, you weren't all that impressed, were you?
Well, I'm not. First of all, I'm only halfway through it. Second of all, I kind of disagree. You say it doesn't take itself that seriously. I mean, if you're really going to go full Commando, we need to have lines like "Let off some steam, Bennett." And
he's got some one.
Remember when I told you I'd kill you last? I lied. That kind of stuff.
He's got some one-liners in it that are 80s worthy.
I haven't gotten through the whole thing, so I'll reserve judgment. I mean, it's serviceable. It has some good action, but again, there's something about. Like, I would enjoy Commando better because Commando feels like, they're actually shooting real shit at people and they're not meticulously blocking a scene to each frame so that everything comes out just perfect in every single frame. And the color correction and all that kind of stuff. It's like,
I kind of know what you mean, but at the same time, the whole scene have you seen the scene yet on the tram?
No, I've gotten to that. I'm just getting to that.
I'm not going to spoil too much, but I mean, there are moments when you're looking at that and going, that's real cars blowing up. That's not CG.
Oh, yeah.
They have put explosives under cars and they have blown those cars to smithereens. And I was looking at it going, good.
Don't be too certain. I mean, you would be surprised how much CG they add to a movie that you wouldn't think he would even have any CG in it.
But if it gets to the point you really think that they really did some practical effects, then what's the difference?
Yeah.
If it gets to that, or if you feel some real, yes, I agree. I don't know. There's just something. It's not a bad movie. I feel like I'm shitting on it when I shouldn't be, but
you kind of are, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's a lot more fun.
We have got Ryan Gosling on the line to join us today.
We know he's.
We got Ryan Gosling to stare blankly at us for a while. It's his one move.
I'm kind of in the middle. I didn't love it as much as you two, and I didn't hate it as much as Yoda.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just saying. Okay, I will agree with you. Chris Evans is fantastic.
It was entertaining. Chris Evans was good, and he's a dick in real life, but he was good, and he was very funny. I'm with you, though, Yoda. It does. Some of it just looks too CGI.
Or maybe, I don't know, just too planned out, too perfect.
Do you know what? It was the fight scene. I want to go back to some more raw action fight scenes like Riggs in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
John McClane in Die Hard 1. Everything's so choreographed now. Everything's so John Wick.
But he's not an.
And I was just like, just lose your temper and just fucking start steaming into each other.
I think that's what. I think you hit it. I think it's the John Wickedization of all these action movies now. They have
now,
to be.
That is a legit complaint. That is a legit.
But I think that's where I'm really talking about more than anything.
But Matt, think of it. He's not nothing in the movie indicates, he's a John McClane like every man. He's a highly trained James Bond type dude. So you expect a more polish, and his reputation is that. Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny, man.
He's only human, and I know he's sort of trained to withhold the pain. But there's a few times he's getting stabbed. He's just like, oh, and you're like, come on. I mean, like Chris Evans in it, he gets obviously he's got that burn. I can't go into it because it's spoiled. Yeah, he's got that, and he goes, oh, and he's all crippled up. He goes,
that stings.
And I was like, that's a really good point. And then
why are you limping? Because I got shot.
Yeah. Being stabbed. He's like. Oh.
Well, it's weird. It's weird. Matt says about the fight at the end of Lethal Weapon because I've never been a fan of that fight. It was just because I know it. To me, it just doesn't. No, it doesn't seem realistic at all. The way it was shot and everything else, I didn't get it.
What? It was. You ran my dog out of here.
I'm with you on this, Sean. I don't. That's bizarre to me.
It's just the way it was shot and everything else. It was just not very. I didn't.
Sean's done. Sean's leaving.
Sean's left. So I'm by myself. Right, some other things I've got to say. Star Wars is crap.
Well, it's like
some more fighting in now.
I mean, I will give The Force Awakens one nod that I liked, and that was when the people when Rey and Kylo are fighting, and they're just chopping wood, as opposed to the prequels, which was choreographed. Dancing. Yes. And that's kind of what, and that's why I like Lethal Weapon's fight, is that it's just two guys just wailing on each other, almost no technique at all at that point.
Yep.
And it's just something more visceral about it. And it's the same with like Schwarzenegger's Commando. I mean, he's not using anything. He's just using his brute strength and just.
But that's the point. It's like Sean just said that. I mean, what's his name in Riggs was supposed to be like a trained fighter and everything else. He'd been in the war and everything else. He surely should have known some half decent moves. And the same with what's his name, the guy who was fighting, Gary Busey.
He was,
he was more of a sniper.
Yeah, he was not like some martial arts expert. He was just,
and
he like really lost it by that. Yeah, and he kind of lost it himself at that point in the movie. He was pure rage anyway.
Yeah, which that's the point. It brings the emotion. Like there's, I think. Red Letter Media mentioned this, but there's a sword fight in one of the James Bond films with Pierce Brosnan, where it's just basically just two guys just wailing on each other, and it's supposed to be a nice fight, but you feel the emotion, and they're just breaking shit and all that kind of stuff.
It's the same principle. I've always said that the whole lightsaber fight with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan at the end of Phantom Menace is choreographed, but then Luke at the end of Jedi is just wailing on him. He's just angry. And there's no. Yeah, and anyway, we're getting off the point. Back to the Grey Man.
Well, I think that is the point, is that the Grey Man is, I would like to see just a little less stylized fighting, a little less choreographed stuff.
I didn't get that from it.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't.
Less drone cams as well.
Oh, no, do you know what? That is that's something I actually quite liked. I thought the drone camera work was spot on. It was nice to see a bit of creativity.
I liked it.
As opposed to just, I love the way we're just like all four of us now fighting and like taking sides and stuff. It's good. Although I don't like being on the side with Sean, but
Well, I can switch sides just out of spite if you want. Retard.
But the whole, I think some of the cam work that I've been seeing lately, because there was this and the ambulance is another one, and just some of the shots are just so much more creative because you've got a camera, a camera attached to a drone. I like them.
I don't know. Like
just for the point.
If you gave me the choice between this and the very first Blood movie, I would take First Blood every time. I think it's it's just it's so much more visceral. You talk about camera work. It's like they had one cam inside some weird mine lit by one torch, and that was far more effective to me than all of these highly technical machine-made camera work that they do now. I know
what you mean, but then they are two different tones of a movie.
Right.
That, you know, one of them.
Fair, yeah, fair point. But I mean, I like that tone better for an action flick.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I would just like to turn it down, just tone it down a little bit. That's all. Just tone the special effects down a little bit.
Because the bit, what annoyed me is the opening sequence in the plane, and when he's falling out of the plane and trying to get the other parachute and stuff, there was a lot of camera work there where I thought I was looking at it going, yeah, you can't see anything. You can't see.
Yeah, that was a little. That was the weakest of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was like going, what the hell? And then they don't even bother to show him landing. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Just roll, tuck your knees, darling, and roll, and you'll be fine. But I was worried up until that point, but I thought the rest of the fights just panned out really well. You know, and I just thought they really.
There was no shaky cam. You got to give it credit for that. There was no shaky.
Granted, I'll give him that.
See, I was born and raised on the early Jackie Chan's, where it was all very sort of like ha, he, who, ha, but it was all shot at a distance and without all these fast cuts and editing. I think it wasn't Transporter 3, I think it was. And for some strange reason, every time there was a punch or a kick, the director had to like cut the angle or something.
That was the Bourne series that brought us.
The Bourne, that really is what set that crap in motion. Because Matt clearly did not have the skill to pull off.
Yeah,
I like the Bourne.
Oh, I do too. But it was novel at the time, but now it's in everything.
Yeah. But I mean, you come back to say like the Winter Soldier, the opening sequence where he has to fight with the Frenchman. You know, both of those guys rehearsed, and you know it was a well done fight because you saw the action as opposed to these fast cut punches and everything else. And like I say, I was worried at that first bit where they're coming out the plane. I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to like this. But the rest of the action I thought was good. Like I say, it got a little over the top. The whole bit on the
tram. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it's growing on me as I go along, and I still have half the movie to watch, an hour of it.
I don't think it's a modern classic or anything. It's a throwaway action movie. It's a fun summer action movie.
The elephant in the room, though, is Anna de Armas kept all her clothes on. Massive
and they missed a chance for her to go, "You look like a good Joe." I really wanted that line in that movie.
Yeah, because he got called a Ken doll, didn't he? By Chris Evans called him a Ken doll, so I presume that was a nod to the film.
And I was like, they just meet. Please say like, "Oh, you look like a good Joe." That would have been great.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
That don't know that's a line from Blade Runner.
And then she got her tits out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that I had, the weird thing that struck me about the movie is the fact that the two main protagonists were white, and the fact that, like I say, I watched it and I didn't think to myself, there's no messages in this.
No, they gave the black woman cancer and blew her up.
And then the main bad guy that we see in the film is a black dude.
And it's just, I was so refreshed at that's I think a good chunk of my enjoyment was the fact I wasn't being preached at.
That's true. There absolutely 100%.
Nothing in that movie is woke.
Yeah.
No.
Well, now you know why it's got 49% on the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and 90% audience.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Anna de Armas in it obviously was getting her ass handed to her every time she fought a dude.
Yeah. It wasn't kind of like, oh, it's a girl, we're going to take it gentle with her. You watching it and going, that hurt. That really hurt. You know?
Yeah, a couple of times she was knocked out. I was thinking, rape scene.
Yep. That's what I was hoping anyway.
Just say Sean.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's our code word from now. If we're talking rape scene, just say Sean.
Sean scene. I was hoping for a really graphic, detailed, horrible Sean scene.
Well, I mean, they made her character power. They did make her character powerful, but they used her like she gets the drop on. Yeah, but she gets the drop on Chris Evans at one point by shooting him, hidden in the bushes with a dart because he doesn't see her. Yes, that's how a woman uses her brains and uses a weapon and evens up the odds. Of course,
that's
not
how
hand-to-hand throwing a guy 300 pounds heavier than her. That doesn't work.
The only
can you imagine seeing Anna de Armas throwing Chris Evans around?
It's nonsense.
I bet Chris Evans in the script readings every day was going, I still think there should be a fight between me and Anna. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
damn it.
He's not alpha enough to want to wrestle around with a woman. He probably was like, Can Mr. Gosling take this shirt off for our fight scene?
For the demographic. It was kind of that's one of the scenes that did annoy me, because I did think to myself, it's literally a bullet, kill him. He's obviously a dangerous man. Put a bullet in his head while he's down, but obviously they needed him for the rest of the story. And the same with when they go to arrest him in the black woman's house, and it's kind of why is he staying back in ops? Surely he would be there. And then when you see what happens, you go, oh right, that's why. Right, okay.
Yeah, and he's an asset that the boss, because Anna still wants to keep her job even through everything that happens in the movie. It's the CIA though. Every one of them still trying to keep their job and get to promote their career, so they don't really want to have to kill each other. Gosling is the only one considered disposable by everybody in the government.
I suppose that's a fair point.
Anybody else, when you first saw him on Captain America, but Chris Evans, when you first saw him in this part, did anybody else think Dewey from Scream?
No,
I've not seen. No. I can't remember Scream.
The guy who always wears the cop. What's it?
David Arquette.
David Arquette's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What? Because of the tash?
Yeah, that's Tash.
Oh no, I just kept thinking, I bet we don't see him in a park with kids.
No. I think he was even called out on his porn stash, wasn't he?
Yeah, he calls it trash stash.
Trash stash, yeah.
Trash stash.
He said, I think I saw a picture of Captain America with a beard, and it sort of goes from good evening, ma'am, nice to meet you, to when he had the moustache, to sort of like, good evening, man, you better start running.
Carry a gun, Mace won't stop me.
I have candy.
Then the next Captain America I want to see is Soldier Boy from The Boys, exactly the same way he is, but in the new Captain America movie and called Captain America. But I want him to be exactly the same way he was in The Boys,
shooting nuns in the face and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think they kind of did that in The Winter Soldier with that unhinged U.S. agent dude.
But he's not really unhinged, and I don't think so.
For the MCU, he is.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess.
How bad's that new Captain America going to be though?
Dog shit.
Isn't it going to be the worst?
Tell me about this, because I haven't read anything about this. What's going on? There's going to be a new Captain America. It's going to be
it's the Falcon. It's
Captain Falcon.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Captain Falcon America.
Yeah.
Sam. What's his name?
Sam Wilson.
Yeah. Is it Sam Wilson?
No. His name in real life is
I don't know.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, someone on the comment section put about him on another article. He said Sam Mackie is to a leading role what Toast is to a banquet. I can't remember who did it.
Wow. I honestly, within the confines of the MCU, and given how the story went, I didn't really have a problem with making Sam the new Captain America. Given their relationship and given that Bucky was a guy out of time and kind of damaged. I didn't, that Bucky would work with him and that kind of thing because he knew Steve, but I didn't have a problem with it. How they executed on that was just god awful, and that culminated in our "you need to do better" center. Oh, you need to do better, Disney.
That's right.
Like Disney's ever going to do that. I mean, it is funny because what is going to happen at the point where Disney are starting to lose? Like proper money, proper millions, proper billions.
It's starting.
That's what I mean. Is they are going to have to at some point think to themselves, this strategy ain't working.
They haven't had success. They've had No Way Home, and that's a Sony product technically.
So they had to split the money. So
and that's it. Everything else has been not a success.
Before we get too much in the weeds,
big name directors. That's what
before we get too much in the weeds, is Gray Man a serviceable throwback to an 80s action movie or not? What's the verdict from you guys? I think it was.
I think it was too. Like I say, there was no woke. There was just two badass guys going at each other. Oh no, hang on, that's a different film I watched. No, but it was just like I say, it reminded me of things like Tango and Cash and Commando and all these kind of movies where it was just old fashioned action.
it's a step in the right direction. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah, I would say absolutely it needs one more layer of cheese, and I think it would be.
It's a little bit too slicked up John Wick to be 100% there, but it's like you said, it's a very good leap in the right way.
It's a cross between Bourne and John Wick, but I think, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. I want to say something controversial now that Sean's going to be crying at. I watched Commando the other day, Sean. It was on Sky when I was channel hopping.
Mm-hmm.
That is not aged well, my friend.
No, it's it's a crap.
Shoot him now. Shoot the screen.
No, it's a crap movie and the end is just like one big giant ridiculous gunfight, which is entertaining. But it really isn't that great.
I don't think anybody ever really thought it was a great movie, but
no,
I don't know if you call it I don't know if you called it so bad it's good movie either, but there's something about it it's not great, but it's bad, but it's damn entertaining.
It's better than Raw Deal.
Until he gets on the island. It's good up until he gets on the islands.
Oh, really? When he gets to the island is when I like it because that's when all the killing starts. No,
I just thought that it was just he's got one at a time. It's mannequins standing outside. They're just mannequins with guns.
This is an interesting category. You know what I would put it? I would put Commando in the same category as Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting category. These not great action movies, but you love them.
That's the thing. It's again coming back to that Grey Man. I was just entertained. I was entertained by this.
But I wouldn't call it bad like Roadhouse or Commando.
No, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad.
It's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I'm saying Commando and Roadhouse are. And I say bad because I just don't have a better adjective right now, but those are not good movies, but they are so freaking entertaining. B-movies, maybe, that's not bad. And I would put this in that category. This is a good movie. Not a great movie, a good movie. But those kinds of movies, I would love to try to figure out a list of those.
So
do you know what Roadhouse and Commando are? They're cereal for dinner. You shouldn't enjoy it, but you do.
Listen, like I've said many times, a movie only has one real criteria for me: did it bore me or not? And it did not bore me. I liked it. Commando does not bore me. Roadhouse, it's got a lot of titties in it. It did not bore me.
Nope.
Going back to that sort of thing, though, Reacher is
Reacher did not bore me.
Reacher. Very kind of. I mean, it would make a good pairing, I think, in some ways.
But again, there wasn't kind of any of that message going on in there or anything else. It was just a story
about. Had a couple of moments that come close to.
Oh, you see that in everything.
What with the black detective? Yeah, there was a couple of little things.
There was a little, yeah.
I felt like that was more. I felt like that was more, from the source material when he wrote it, and more. It felt more organic. It didn't feel like they were shoving something in. I mean, okay, you get a black Harvard cop moving to a tiny little town in Georgia. Yeah, okay. Probably there's going to be a comment or two. And that's what happened. There was a minor comment or two. It wasn't like Mississippi Burning or something.
No, there was a few other things. That wasn't that wasn't what set me off. It was a few other little things like later in the series, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was just little here and there, and I was like,
the dude that played him. I like Tom Cruise. Dude has a work ethic, but he is not Jack Reacher.
Yeah, that dude.
That dude was Jack
perfect
Reacher.
casting. Yeah, perfect.
What's his name? Alan something, is it?
Alan Richter, something like that. He was.
What was he in before that? Because I'd never seen him in anything.
He was in Titans. He played.
He was Aquaman in Smallville as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There was a couple of bits and pieces that were small.
He really came into his own. He's always played in these CW kind of things. He's been like, you need a big guy, big pretty.
Alan
guy.
Alan Ritchson. Fucking gigantic human being.
He is, yeah, man. That's what's awesome about it. He just goes through people like a hot knife through butter, and I like that. He just uses pure force and willpower to get his way. Who doesn't like who?
But
who among us doesn't want to treat the world like that?
He knows when not to use force.
Do you know what?
And he's
How tall do you reckon he is?
But you can tell he enjoys it when he does. That's what I really liked about it. Is like there's no like.
But he wasn't invincible. I mean, he almost got his ass handed to him in the house.
Yeah,
which was good. I mean, that I was like, this is not. He's not Superman,
right?
And somebody with skills can hurt him, and I love his almost Sherlock Holmesian way of looking at things. It's great.
Yeah.
This is weird. I've just looked him up. I didn't recognize him in it, but apparently he played Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, it was the makeup.
He didn't look like him though, but apparently he was in Hunger Games Catching Fire as well.
Yeah, I don't remember him in Hunger Games. He's just had a lot of different parts, but he's needed a starring role or something. And
he's got it now though.
Yeah.
He's struck gold with this.
He should dye his hair black and be the next Punisher if it ever is. See, the Reacher series was like so close to being an actual legit Punisher story. It was. Why can't they do it? Like we always get this whiny alcoholic Punisher that's never the way he's supposed to be. That Jack Reacher's the closest to a. What
a breath of fresh air! A guy who has basically good parents and a good family life growing up. Yeah. He doesn't have this horrible past. Yeah, okay, he lost his brother in this story, but that was in this story. He has like one minor regret that he did that is not really the end of the world.
He wasn't abused by his dad or his uncle or anything else like that.
What a breath of fresh air.
That's what I mean, like saying, not coming back to the whole woke thing, but I mean, again, you're not being preached at this. What you are getting is you are just getting a decent story about a guy who is looking for his, and you're following it along. Yeah, and you're just enjoying it. And again, like I say, I'll come back to the Grey Man. I just thought it was a great story. I mean, like I say, it's been done 1,000 times before, but I was intrigued to see where it was going to go.
The get revenge story, and that's what this boils down to, but with some detective added. Man, it's evergreen. It always works.
Do you think we get a sequel to Grey Man?
Yes, absolutely.
Because Joe hasn't seen it yet.
Absolutely, the ending is clearly, it leaves.
I mean, I didn't see Ryan Gosling being a vampire. That was a twist.
No,
I know it, man. The way he mutated into that giant bat and everything, I was like, wow, why didn't he do that earlier in the movie? Why did he do that when he was falling from the airplane?
I think what shot me the most is
I could just see Yoda watching the end of it going, there's nothing like that in there.
So, when did the space aliens come?
Well, that's Chris Evans' character, isn't it? Because I mean, he's
it turns out it's a backdoor sequel for V. He's one of the lizards.
Yeah,
class.
I wish they would try V one more time. Give it a good,
Yeah, make it good. I've always enjoyed.
Did you see the remake? And
I did not watch the remake.
2009.
I think
I
watched a couple of episodes. Yeah,
the first original miniseries was so good, I had no desire to revisit it in 2009.
As a child, I was highly traumatized by her eating the guinea pig and her jaw opening.
Yeah.
That was
very sick.
Have you seen that effect recently? Ooh, not aged well.
No, it's not good.
The guiney pig crawls back out again.
Comes out of his arse.
It's pretty hilarious.
Talk about pushing the message. That miniseries was so blatant. It was like, we all know that World War II happened.
Yeah. The original miniseries was really good.
It was
the
great.
final battle, not as much.
Not so much. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
There's a reason you don't remember that, Phil.
No, I think it was. I know it sounds horrible, but I think it was just like on British TV. We just never. I don't remember seeing it.
Because
I used to tune in every Saturday to watch it.
And the only thing I remember from the final battle that I think all of us were talking about was when the girl gave birth to the twin babies. They brought out the first baby. It's like, oh, it's human. It looks human. They show it to her, and a big lizard tongue comes out.
I do remember
and she
that
starts
now.
screaming, and then like, oh, there's another one, and this lizard baby comes crawling out of her vag and just looks at the camera like,
it's just like the Queen of England. That's probably why they didn't show that one over there.
Oh, it was so funny.
Oh, it looks like
about 5 years' time we'll be knowing that V was actually a forecoming of what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're trying to warn you.
What's so weird is that there is an old set of outtakes from Star Trek: The Next Generation, the first season of Star Trek: The Next, and the first episode, Encounter at Farpoint. And there's a scene where, for whatever reason, the dude, he turns around and he's holding like this lizard baby from V, and he's making a big joke out of it, but it's clearly the same puppet. And I'm like going, and I just happened to notice because I happened to see them both at the same, because they were very close to each other, if you think about it. And I'm like, how did that puppet end up in Star Trek? Is there some crossover that's coming? You know,
I can imagine. Yeah. He was obviously walking to work that day, and he walked past the thing saying, "Oh, look at that lizard baby! Can we put that on the shelf?"
Yeah, somebody just pulled it off the shelf in the studio or something. Are they both Paramount? Was that the deal? I'm just trying to figure out how that happened.
They showed on the same channel, I believe. So probably. Man, they used to be great back when they did shit like that. Man, they did V, and then they did like Lonesome Dove, the miniseries, and man, they used to do some good stuff back in the day.
The A-Team.
Yeah. I'm talking about the miniseries. You know, that kind of stuff. The big event miniseries.
Am I right in saying then that with Roots. a lot of the problems?
It should have won an award for best fictional because the guy admitted years late, like 10 years ago, he's like, I made it all up.
But is it a question of now that the problem that we have nowadays is when you had like the miniseries V and stuff back in like jolly old England, we had like 4 channels.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all you had. Whereas nowadays they just if you look at all the series that come out, I look at some series and I just think, oh, I can't be bothered because it's going to be 8 hours or whatever, and there's just too many of them. There's too much choice of what's supposed to be good.
It's a big problem.
For about 20 minutes looking through my watch lists on like Netflix, Amazon, and all the other.
And then you end up watching something.
And you're like, I want to watch it.
I'll just watch The Office again.
Yeah, that's what I end up doing.
Well, it took me 6 months to watch Reacher because I was just kind of getting to the point. It's like, I'll just let this shit come out, let it settle, watch some of the videos, wait and see what the general reaction is, and give it a little time to percolate and see if people still kind of like it. Like when the Critical Drinker really talked up Reacher, and I keep hearing you guys talk about Reacher, and I was like, okay, I'm going to finally give this one a try, and I'm glad I did. But, I'm getting to the point, it's like, I don't want to waste my time on stuff, on some piece of shit,
Let me ask you something. Whose opinion do you put more weight in? Critical Drinker or the rest of us? No, I'm serious about this.
All right.
Because I wonder, it's like, why does this guy's opinion hold? And I don't mean it like to you.
It's not so much that, like, you guys or what, it's more about who generally aligns with my taste. Right.
It's funny because I've seen the Critical Drinker mention a couple of movies and I've disagreed with him.
Yeah,
and
there's a few I do with him, but he really articulates his points well of why he likes something. I think that's why he's taken off, because he's very good at explaining himself. I think that's why Red Letter Media did such a good job of explaining, because they really get in and they've very good communicators in explaining why they think it's something bad and then backing up the points. Where other people say it sucks, and that's about all you get. Or
he really understands
storytelling,
and that kind of thing,
and he's funny as hell. That helps a lot.
I think Sean and I align with you on a lot of like action movies and stuff, whereas you and George align more on more exploitation type movies. Matt and I aligned more on Star Trek, obviously. So I think, none of us live in a vacuum. I respect all your guys' opinions. It's not the difference.
No, I know that. I just wondered
why
I wondered if like there was something out there that we loved, and you would be like, I don't know. But then if you hear like Critical Drinker, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, like your Paul Thomas Anderson stuff. You and I, and you got me into Dinner with Americans. So those kinds, or Dinner in America, whatever it's called. So that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, if Sean likes that kind of movie, then I'm probably going to like it. Whereas if you talk about an exploitation thing where somebody gets raped by a badger, then I'm probably not going to enjoy that. So
I don't even know if I'd enjoy that. That's kind of weird.
Don't lie, Sean.
I like
Will
where
you
your
stay
head's
out of
at.
my home movie collection?
I like where your head's at, though. I do like where your head's at.
I understand you.
I think we got a really good mix of taste.
Yeah.
I think that's our
like.
strongest. I think that's actually our strongest thing is that we have really varied taste amongst all four of us.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of some of the Japanese anime from the what's the guy's name, Miyazaki, that I really love that you guys probably aren't into as much.
Oh no, I like.
Oh, you
Studio
like
Ghibli.
Miyazaki? Okay.
Oh hell, I love anime, dude. We just never talk about it. I don't know why. Maybe
Yeah.
because these two idiots don't like it, but
then- I get into these older movies. I don't think any of you guys are into some of the older musicals and stuff, or just older movies in general.
I like older movies. I just don't like musicals. We know because you're poshy British, so we know you like musicals.
I don't like musicals.
I don't like them either.
Consider yourself part of furniture.
Are you kidding? Life of Brian was amazing. The dancing on the cross. Who else could choreograph that? No,
Has anyone seen Mayor of Kingstown?
Not yet, man. You said you sent me the link there.
Man. Yoda, you like Yellowstone. You're going to love this. It's quite similar to The Wire. Has anyone seen The Wire?
You know what? I missed out on it back in the day when it was so.
There's another one. It's like, I think, how many? There's like 14. There's a lot of seasons, aren't there? Or am I thinking something else?
No, I think there's only about 4 or 5.
Yeah,
well, maybe I'm thinking of something different. Maybe I'm thinking of something like.
You're thinking of The Shield, I believe.
Shield, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen that.
I started watching The Shield and I kind of fell out of it. I don't know. Some of these mid 2000s stuff, they got
very repetitive.
It got repetitive, but they also were so depressing all the time. Like Rescue Me with Dennis Leary, I really liked, but it fortunately it didn't overstay its welcome. But it was kind of like the same. Oh God, he's drinking again. Yeah.
I think I only done 1 season of that. But Sean, in the Mayor of Kingstown, there's a prison riot. Without giving too much away, mate, you'll be in your element.
Oh, good.
There's guns and brutality and everything. It's hostages.
How many episodes is it in there?
Not many. I think it's about 8.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah. Have you seen that? It's called We Own. Let's see. It was an HBO miniseries. We Own This City. Yes. About
I started watching that the other night.
It's like a true story about those bad cops in Boston. It's pretty good. You'd like it, Yoda, I think.
No, I'm going to like it. I just don't like the main actor.
John Bernthal.
Yeah,
I don't like him either. I don't like. He's an anti-gun fag, so I don't like him.
Well, he's anti-gun considering the fucking stuff he makes.
Considering he was the Punisher?
Yeah, he was literally the Punisher, but he's everybody. Only actors and cops should be able to play with guns. You know, he's one of those kind of.
What, like Alec Baldwin?
According to Tom Hanks, that's true.
What'd you say there, Yoda?
I said, what, like Alec Baldwin?
Right. The real pros, the pros. The experts on abortion and climate change and guns, actors.
Yeah.
I've just added to my watch list C with Aquaman. What's his name?
Oh, no. I
Jason Momoa. It's on Apple Plus.
Has
anyone seen that?
He always plays the big bearded loud man, doesn't he?
The bro dude.
Yeah.
When you're talking about brutal and really violent scenes, one of the things I liked about Reacher is that it had brutal, violent scenes, but only to accomplish a goal, and no more. It was never gratuitous. It was because that what had to be done at that moment.
Well, he's the good guy, If
it isn't just that. I mean, he could there's one where I think the only thing I thought at the very end was a little bit. Oh, wasn't that lucky? Is that all the main characters got to have their arc completion with their various antagonists? Like she got to take out the mayor, and he got to take out his friend, and of course he got to take out JD. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, oh, that was lucky. But I
don't know that
he hit him with the thing that slammed down on his head. The Finley hit his friend Picard. Just because he had to. It was like they were fighting. He had to. He had him in the position. It was really quick. Just did it. It wasn't gratuitous. It was brutal, but had to be done because there's a fire and they need to get the hell out of there. That kind of stuff I really like. I thought it was.
I like the shower scene.
I did too. Man, she looked like a tiny little thing, didn't she?
Yeah.
I did think to myself,
like he's going to split her in half.
This is going to be like a hamster trying to eat a banana.
Oh man!
By the way, I thought she was pretty solid. She's hot and was a solid actress and well done.
Again, and just well written, and it was a good series. It was a really good series, and it's kind of not coming back to the obvious because we'll think about wrapping up. But I mean, it's back to this kind of just good old fashioned storytelling of not trying to promote any message throughout the thing. It's just let's just tell a story about this is what it is. This is the story. Mm-hmm. And like I say, Reacher did it well. Thought the Grey Man did it well. Sean said you couldn't find any kind of woke in it, didn't you? The Grey Man.
No woke at all in Grey Man.
That was oh dear. And your nose is pretty sensitive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Yoda would tell you if there was any woke in it, Yoda would have already brought it up too because we're Americans and we have to have it shoved in our faces 24/7. So
we're the same. We're the same.
I'm not. It goes completely over my head. I think women are great. We should have more black gay actors.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, you dummies are importing it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a couple of years behind you. Yeah, we're not quite at your levels, but we're not far behind.
I was going to say, you say that though. Doctor Who's gone that way, isn't it? So
yeah, it's pretty bad. I still love that scene. I love that comment last week where that guy's like watching Doctor Who's like wandering into the Blue Oyster Bar from Louisiana. I wish that I would have come up with that.
Oh no, that's gay panic. That's homophobia. You can't do any of that. Whatever. Still funny.
That show is going to be so bad.
I never watched any of the Jodie Whittaker ones because I just thought, do you know what? And the ones that happened to be on TV that I happened to watch, there was one I think with Bradley. I can't think of his name now. Walsh was dancing and he had lasers in his shoes or something or other, and I was watching it and going, oh God, this is worse than like a kids program that's written by kids for kids, and so I didn't bother. But with the new Doctor Who, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, might be quite funny.
Help me understand.
The only reason I know anything at all about Doctor Who is because Dean watches every episode and then gets on Facebook and just goes off about it for, a wall of text. And
help me understand. When I was growing up in the 70s, I remember Doctor Who. I remember his name.
Sylvester McCoy, Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
He lives near me.
Playing him, and I never really got into it. It was for some reason it was on PBS in the States, government channel, and I just never watched it. What little I saw of it, it was like that's kind of interesting, but it was, when I would watch an episode, it was like in the middle of a soap opera, and I didn't have any context about what was going on, so I never got into it. And then did it go off the air for a while, and then it started up again in '96 or something?
It's kind of like they kind of the BBC seem to sort of keep
they ran into the grounds.
Yeah, it goes all sort of crappy, and because I mean some of the earlier episodes, some of the episodes I remember were the really awful special effects and stuff, and there was like zero budget. Yeah, there was, and Colin Baker was it, and there was kind of Peter Davison. They had zero budget on them, and I kind of remember them as a kid being great, and now I watch them now and I think, oh, it's just terrible. But they kind of every 10 years,
it's like the original Star Trek.
It's kind of like it. The clown that comes out every 28 years to kill kids and stuff is, sort of the BBC go, oh, we haven't done Doctor Who for a while. Let's do something with the Daleks and stuff. And then there's always kind
loads of money at it, didn't they? And they had some good script writers, and it really looked at a whole new generation. Like my two eldest in particular, they was only, I don't know, 8 or maybe 9 or 10 when it came out again. And they absolutely loved it. So I never liked Doctor Who. I thought it was shit. But I liked the ones with David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah, those were great series.
So if you were going to get started with it, would you start in like the 90s version and just go from there? Was it David Tennant or the... I don't know.
I think there's one. I was going to say there was a series with Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper, and it's best to start there. And then, I mean, some of those series are a bit hit and miss. I mean, the whole series with Catherine Tate Catherine Tate is just the worst, and so I can't stomach her at all. So I didn't watch any of it. But they also had what's her name? It's pronounced something like Adja Freeman or something, and she was
she was quite fit.
Oh, she was gorgeous. She was really beautiful. So again, quite enjoyed it.
But she was black, but there was no preaching, there was no messaging. No. It was just like, here's my new assistant.
And there was, like I say, there's no, but then when it got to Jodie Whittaker, the bit that got me was when they had a whole hour-long program over here to announce who the new Doctor was, and they brought out all these people and everything else, and then they announced it was Jodie Whittaker. I was just like, no, checked out.
Well, I remember seeing some of the trailers on that. Says the Doctor, she's like, I've had an upgrade. It's like,
yeah, no, see ya.
Yeah, I didn't.
I think it started going downhill with Capaldi though. I think that's when the started becoming too obvious. It just
there's a couple of good episodes that he did, but overall it started to just go downhill from there, didn't it?
I knew when the writing was on the wall, there was an episode. And there was they was trapped in this house, and there was this young kid. He was probably about, I don't know, 19 or so. And they was talking, he went, oh yeah, my granddad's boyfriend told me about this. And I went, out, you're done, off. Fucking granddad's boyfriend, do me a favour.
Is Torchwood related to Doctor Who?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a spin-off? Okay.
Famous bummer. What's his name?
I
can't think of his name now. Apparently he's been accused of waving his dick around the BBC and stuff, and a load of people have said he's like that. Yeah, have you not read that?
BBC got sexual deviance working for him. This is totally shocking.
You heard it here, people. What a shock.
Unbelievable. I was shocked.
I can't believe that.
That's what made me laugh. That's what made me laugh. I was thinking about allegations of that. What's wrong with that? That's every day in the BBC, isn't it?
The BBC, yeah. Yeah.
Shocked.
John Barrowman
to find gambling in this establishment.
Yeah, John Barrowman was accused of it and stuff. But again, he's a famous. He's just one of those people that it's just he's got to ram it down your throat every time there's an interview with him or whatever.
You must know him well.
Hey! It brings back painful memories, all right? But I mean, with it again, he is just one of those people that is just. Any interview that he does,
show
he's
us
got
on the doll where it touched you.
here, and here.
That reminds me of a story. When I was in college, I took some class, and it was like I forget what it was. It was some sort of sociology class or something, and the professor she was one of these victims. She worked with the molested children, and she brought in the dolls, and there was the little girl and the woman and the little boy and the dad, and the two, all of them looked the same, just one smaller than the other. And she's sitting there and she's showing it, and she's like, this is the father to use, to show where he touched, and this is the boy. And my friend sitting in front of me turned around, he goes, that kid looks just like his old man. Oh dude,
how is this live stream still going?
I don't know.
We're not big enough yet.
Yeah. We're getting all this out now, so when we're having millions of hits and everything else, we can hold back.
Remind me once we go off the air to tell you the other thing that the same guy said one time.
I can see the chat then going, where's all the other stuff? We want the funny stuff. Be funny again.
Look, when you get famous, you have to have a lot of stuff you need to cover up.
Right.
I mean, what's the fun of being famous if you don't have a bunch of shit in your closet you got to cover up,
I've already written my apology letters for these.
That's right.
My goal is to get really big, and then old stuff I said turn up and then get us canceled. Just like
it's like in the Family Guy. In Family Guy, when what's his name, Mel Gibson apologizes. I'm sorry for you Jews with your big noses.
That's king mail. That's king mail to you, Phil.
King mail. Sorry, king mail. Right. Okay. Come on, Yoda. Let's wrap it up. We've been here for a couple of hours.
All right.
I'm all racist out.
What?
Perhaps we should divvy it up. One of us slag off homosexuals, one slag off black people, one do Jews. That way we're not all worn out at the end.
Come on, there's always room for racism. It's like Jell-O. Thank you very much for watching. This has been another live stream from lastmovieoutpost.com, where we have all your movie news, streaming news, and everything good about film. I am Drunken Yoda. This has been Boba Phil, Sean, and Matt, because they don't have imaginative names like we do. In fact, it kind of just goes down as we go along, you know. Pretty soon it's just Matt. So you can reach us contact us at lastmovieoutpost.com. Those of you that have been listening on the podcast, we really do appreciate it. And I want to apologize for letting it go for several weeks and then having them all pile up in 1 week. But we will try to keep that going on audio. And you can find us at all the best podcast platforms, such as iTunes, Stitcher, and any other place that you might find it. I am at Drunken Yoda 1 on Twitter. He is at Not George Lucas still.
Which is going to change. I am going to change my I've got an old account called Boba Phil, which I'm going to reactivate. I'm just waiting for my avatar to come through from Pops. Pops, if you're listening, do my avatar.
All right. So at something, sometime, somewhere.
Sometime in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Sean has no Twitter and is well armed, so don't try to contact him. And Matt is just mostly drunk, so it's not.
Matt is in his castle, surrounded by a moat, which you can't get over unless the drawbridge is down.
That's right. I know you have wine there in front of you, so you're not fooling anybody. Anyway, it's been great. Bill, you got anything left?
No. Apart from apologies for not getting any videos up this week on the channel. Obviously, please like and subscribe to the channel and stuff. But we should be back onto videos as of next week. Like I say, it's just been very busy. I know, Yoda, you've been busy as well, but we will get back onto making
busy
videos.
and quite frankly, a little unmotivated, and I need to get my mojo back on that. So
I got to admit, I'm the same. When you make a video and it only gets 30 looks.
Bye.
Yeah.
That'll help me making videos.
Well,
they don't call me Clever Dick for nothing. But yeah, like I say, I've been the same. That it's just getting the motivation to get some of them done as well. I've got some ideas, but I will get down to doing them to get them done. So,
Sean, any last words?
When I was 19, I did a guy in Laos from 1,000 yards out. Only 8 or 10 guys in the world could have made that shot. It was the only thing I was ever any good at.
Impersonating Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon.
I nailed it.
As I said, I never heard of two gay guys doing each other from 1,000 yards out. But that's.
You must be hung like Michelle Obama.
Just through a pair of binoculars.
You ruined a good movie quote there.
I did, and wasn't like you did it any favors, but that's fine.
I quoted it perfectly.
Wow, I didn't know we had Mel Gibson with us today. Oh no, it was only.
Let me tell you some other things.
Actually,
tell you who's really in control.
Actually, you do kind of resemble Mel Gibson nowadays, with the depression beard and the grumpy racism.
And you've never liked Jews, have you?
Never. No. Are you kidding me?
Anyway, sorry, Matt. Right, Yoda,
please.
carry on. Say something sensible.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here for the next couple of weeks because I'm going to be on holiday in Turkey. So.
Turkey.
Yeah, I'm going to Turkey, man.
Okay, don't get jihaded.
Cocktails. So next week when you're doing this, I'll be drinking cocktails around the pool.
All right.
Bougie.
Don't get jihaded, all right?
And don't try and come and rob my house because my eldest are going to still be here.
And the moat and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Boiling oil down the castle walls.
Exactly.
Well, just be the three of us for the next few weeks. That'd be like old times.
It'll be nice and fun. So yeah,
I'll see if since we won't have Matt on to embarrass us, I'll see if Cecil will join us one week.
There you go.
Yeah.
No promises, because he's a busy man and he's more important than us. So who knows?
He's actually got a channel worth of damn.
I know. Yes, the tons of work to get no views is not depressing at all.
Hey, that's
if some asshole doesn't copyright strike you.
Honestly, the last few videos I have put up have been comedy gold. Not to blow my own trumpet, but they have been great. And the fact that nobody watches them is pretty annoying. I've put some belters up, and like I say, go to the channel and like it and share and subscribe and tell everyone.
Small brains, man. YouTube's just full of a bunch of small brain watchers that can't appreciate.
You want a video that's going to go viral? Let's do Sean's top 10 rape scenes.
Let's do it. Yeah, that really would go viral. Listen, that really would go viral. It really would, because it would fall right into that. Because there's a whole lot of guys that do movie stuff like that, and if we did that, that would be. You guys make fun of me over all the time about it, but that would be probably one of our biggest videos.
Well, if Sean's done insulting our viewers, I think we'll.
I was insulting everybody else's viewers.
Sure you were.
I'll make a list of all the people that I insulted. Right. The Aardvark channel.
Aaron A. Aronson.
All right, let's close this down. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.